Hey guys, welcome back to Premium Picks. Today we are going to give you our full card predictions for UFC 297. It's live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. In the main event, it's featuring Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title. And in the co-main, you got Rocky Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva for the vacant bantamweight championship. It's a decent card. You know it's going to be full of Canadians. They like to do that when they come to Canada. So please subscribe, and let's break down this card. First fight of the night, we've got 14-7 Malcolm Gordon coming in at -138 versus 16-7 Jimmy Flick coming in at +110. I actually do agree with these odds. Jimmy Flick, he's looked terrible since returning to the UFC. Looks absolutely terrible. Bad striker, bad on the feet, but a very savvy grappler if he can get it to the ground. Then you got Malcolm Gordon. His 4 losses in the last 5 years are all to way better fighters than Jimmy Flick. So at first glance, you got to think Malcolm Gordon. The thing is, I don't really trust Malcolm Gordon either. I could see him winning on the feet, being the better striker, and eventually getting caught in a choke. I'm still going to lean Malcolm Gordon to get this done because Jimmy Flick's looked terrible. But I do agree with the odds being close, and I will not be betting this fight. But I'm going to say they're going to open up with the Canadian winning. Malcolm Gordon gets it done, I think. How do you see it?
Well, let's not forget Malcolm Gordon actually is a BJJ black belt himself, right? So and Jimmy Flick, his submissions are like standing crazy shit that come in a scramble. Like it's not like let's not act like this guy sets it up well or anything like that, right? And on the feed, like I think it's like a shit show for Jimmy Flick, to be honest with you. I think Malcolm Gordon's got him beat on the feet a lot. So, Malcolm Gordon, what's his claim to fame is that he hangs in there for a bit and then just crumbles, right? So he does have a couple wins against Francisco Figueiredo and Bondar. People are going to say Bondar hurt his elbow, but Malcolm was probably winning that fight up to that point, to be honest with you. And we know Bondar's a little bit of a floozy, to be honest with you. And Flick can't take a punch. So do you think he submits him if he gets him down? That he has to get him down to submit him. That's the thing, right? So
No, I think his only chance at a victory is just him leaving his neck out, and he snatches a neck out of nowhere. And I think that's the
yeah,
only
yeah,
way he's
it's
going to
some
win.
sort of scramble sub, right? It's not going to be something that he sets up. So, yeah, I like Malcolm Gordon. It's gross and it's nasty to say, but in this particular spot, I like Malcolm Gordon.
All right, moving on. Next fight of the night, we've got 9-3 Jasmine Jasudavicius coming in at -450 versus 12-5 Priscilla Cachoiera coming in at +350. This is one of my most confident picks of the night. I definitely have Jasmine. I'm sure if you've seen her other videos, I am big on her. I'm probably pretty biased here. She's coming off the loss to Tracy Cortez, but Tracy Cortez is a great grappler, a good fighter. And before that, she absolutely outgrappled with ease Miranda Maverick. She dominated Miranda Maverick, who just dominated Priscilla Cachoeira with grappling. So Jasmine is going to ragdoll Priscilla Cachoeira, I think. And the thing is she's so tough that even if she gets caught with a big punch, she's not going to get knocked out. So she's not going to get KO'd, and she's not going to be unable to get it to the ground over 3 rounds. Priscilla won't be able to keep it standing for 3 rounds to beat her on the feet. So I like Jasmine big time here. I think it's a very confident pick for me. How do you see it?
Minus 450 is probably the only thing that scares me away from this whole damn thing. But yeah, I mean, that first round is going to be a tiny bit dicey because that's when Priscilla's got her most energy. That's when her punches have the most sting. But she tires way too much, and Jasmine's too much of a dog to let a tiring girl like Priscilla beat her. Like, ugh, I just, yeah, like you said, I don't say it. Minus 450 seems shitty, maybe over 1.5. I don't see Jasmine finishing Priscilla. Maybe on the ground, though. Like, she gets this on the ground, moves around, and gets a sub, like a rear naked choke or something like that. That is very possible and on the table. So, but like honestly, the first round's dicey, so I think she won't mess around too much with like getting too close to Priscilla, trying to do too much, maybe hold her up against the cage. Please very safe in that first round. So maybe Jasmine plus 1.5 over 1.5 might be a nice play here because I don't see this ending in the first round. I do send it. If I see it ending, it'll be towards the latter part of the fight when Priscilla sort of like gasses out and Jasmine can pretty much do whatever she wants. So that's the way I look at maybe Jasmine plus 1.5 over 1.5 when those odds come out.
All right, so you're looking at the Canadians up 2-0 so far on the card. Next fight of the night, we've got 9-2 Johan Lainesse coming in at -138 versus 10-2-1 Sam Patterson coming in at +110. I think Johan is going to look to strike here and try to knock Sam Patterson out, similar to what happened last fight. Patterson's coming off a brutal knockout loss. And Patterson on the flip side is going to be looking to utilize grappling. He's going to look to try to get this to the ground and get a choke. That's kind of how he likes to win his fights. No real confidence in it, but I am going to say Johan gets this done. I'm going to say he probably knocks him out too. He actually is a big puncher. He's not the greatest fighter, but he does hit pretty hard. Patterson can be knocked out. We've already seen that. And I don't think Patterson's going to be able to utilize that grappling here. So give me Johan to get it done, and the Canadians to be up 3-0 on my side. How do you see it?
Well, the problem is, I mean, the odds are -138 for Johan, right? And then plus money on Patterson. Patterson in that fight against Yanal Ashmov where he got knocked the fuck out. He was like a -300 favorite. Now he's a plus money underdog. So I'm leaning Lainesse sort of because he does have wins, but that win against Darian Weeks I feel like was a little bit of a friggin' gift. And the other win I can't get it was the guy he fought right before Gabe Green. Who was it? I can't remember. Jesus. Justin Burleson. That was Dana White Consensus Series. He was actually supposed to probably lose that fight big time to that guy, and he pulled out the win. So he's a big underdog in that fight too. I'm scared about this fight. I think Patterson has a chance. He took the time off after the knockout, right? I like that young fighter. He took the time off after the knockout. Get your headspace right. Lainesse isn't that good. If this gets past a round and a half, Patterson is going to be looking like -300. So a live bet spot for Patterson because the longer this goes, the worse it gets for Lainesse. I'm going to pick Lainesse straight up now because Patterson's chin, I don't know how it's going to hold up. Guys with glass chins, as we saw in the Phil Haas fight, guys with glass chins have glass chins, right? We don't know if Patterson really has a glass chin, but all we know is that he got knocked out pretty brutally in his first fight. So for now, I'm going to go Lainesse round 1 KO. If I see anything else in the tape, we are going to do one this week, guys, Thursday show. So if I do find anything else out from looking at tape, then I'll go with it. I do think Lainesse does gas though. So there's red flags all over this fight.
All right, moving on. We've got 12-8 Jillian Robertson coming in at -225 versus 13-6 Polyana Viana coming in at +187. Now, these are odds I don't like. Obviously, Jillian Robertson, hell of a grappler. Not great on the feet and not great at wrestling. Really good submission grappler. And then you got Polyana Viana, 13-6. She's all 13 wins are by finish. A lot of them are submission. She does have, I think, 6 knockouts or something like that. So I like the finishing ability on that side. I think based on having that many submission wins, she's got to be a decent enough grappler that I'm thinking she doesn't get subbed, but I don't know. But basically, I don't like Jillian Robertson at -225. I'm not big on Jillian anyways. And then when you see her at -225, I don't love it. This is the first Canadian on the card where I don't love this spot. It's going to be a pass for me betting-wise, and I'm just not really that confident in it. I think it's a closer fight than the odds suggest. What do you think?
Polyana is a better striker than Jillian is. This all comes down to can Jillian take her down, right? And numbers say that it's pretty close in the takedown accuracy versus they're all above 40% all the way around the board. 40% takedown, 40% takedown defense, right? And we're talking both of them here. So my problem with Polyana is that when she does get taken down, and she is okay with laying on her back, right? She likes to play that jiu-jitsu game. Like Jillian's cool with just sitting in your guard all day as well, right? And doing these pill powder. But that's the scary part about picking Viana. I do think Viana is the better striker. I do think she can knock her the fuck out if she wants to keep this on the feet. She knocked out Jin Frey just a couple fights ago, and she's 3-4 in her last 4 fights. So it's like a lot aside from losing to Tabitha Ricci and who was the last girl she lost to? Isman Lucindo because
Good fighter.
good fighter. And Jillian lost to Tabitha Ricci in her last fight. So we all know Tabitha Ricci is the bridesmaid, never the bride. So she beats all these girls and then gets to the top and can't do it, unfortunately. But she is a good fighter, right? And she knows how to control on the ground. She knows how to do all that kind of stuff. So these girls have been losing to decent competition. So who's to say that this doesn't just become a striking battle? And in a striking battle, I favor Viana. I don't know who to favor here, to be honest with you. Minus 225 says not to bet on Jillian Anderson. I'm finding all the different ways to try to get on Vienna, but at the same time, I don't trust her. She likes to lay on her back. She doesn't try to get up. That's the worst part. She does no get up. If she tried to get up, I'd be happy with her, but she's okay playing this stupid jiu-jitsu game, and it pisses me off, to be honest with you. Right now, I'll pick Jillian right now because I think she can keep her on the ground and do Jillian Anderson, X-Files, Jillian Robertson things, but yeah, not confident at all.
Yeah, to me, it's just there's no way it's minus 225. The odds are too wide, and that's why I will not be playing that.
Too wide for such a close fight. That's the thing, right?
Exactly. Moving on, we've got 10-1 Siday coming in at minus 175 versus 9-2 Raymond Taveras coming in at plus 150. This is a rematch of a fight that just happened like less than 6 months ago. Siday knocked him out in the first round, and I don't understand like what's changed in 6 months. Sure, it's a fist fight, and anything can happen. And these guys are actually both huge finishers. If you look at their finishing rate, they're both like 90 something percent each. So that makes for an exciting fight. I think that this fight was strategically placed in this position to bring the crowd back to life after the previous fight, which is going to be kind of boring. Jillian Robertson versus Polyana, boring fight. This fight will get the crowd back roaring again. We're going to go with Siday minus 175 by knockout once again. What do you think?
I don't see what can change in 4 months. The other guy, I watched the tape of the fight. It's like 11 seconds long or something crazy like that. Whatever. I didn't do due diligence on this one, guys. I looked at the one fight they fought each other, and the one guy smashed the other guy. And I'm gonna pick
Yeah.
the guy that smashed the other guy. And the fact that it's only one minus 175, and this guy smashed the other guy, like, I don't know. Maybe they're tricking me. This is MMA math at its best, though. Like, you got the two same fighters fighting each other, and you're getting 175 on the guy that absolutely obliterated the other guy, right? So, like,
4 months ago.
are they freaking tricking me though, man? They tricking me. It was like 225 into the first round. This guy obliterated this other guy. So like, I don't know. I'm picking Siday. That's who I'm picking because I'm doing MMA math on this one. I just don't. When fucking rematches happen 2 years later, there's a difference, right? When rematches happen 3 to 4, 5, 6 months after it happened, and you got obliterated, then
Don't see it.
whatever.
All right, moving on. We've got 15-6-1 Charles Jourdain coming in at minus 175, and he is taking on 10-1-1 Sean Woodson coming in at plus 150. I actually kind of agree that these odds are tighter than I think most would have guessed. Like when I first saw this on paper, I thought Jourdain was going to be a huge favorite, but these odds do make sense. Sean is a finisher, and he's a good striker. But Charles is tough. So I don't think Charles is going to get knocked out. So I do think Charles will take over the fight as it goes on. Charles will win this fight. I think it's going to mostly play out on the feet. And I just think he's got the volume and the durability. Sure, Sean probably has the power advantage. But again, Charles isn't chinny by any means. So I do think Charles Jourdain gets this done. I also do agree that these odds are fairly tight, though. I think it's should be a fun contest. What do you think?
Well, I don't think Charles is much of a, I mean, not Charles, Sean's much of a finisher, to be honest with you. I think it's pitter patter, stand at range. He's a skinny, long guy. This fight kind of reminds me of that Luis Saldana fight that he had a couple fights ago. Not that Dennis Bazooka fight where he just took over. But even in that fight, he was in a volume monster. It was like 71 and he owned him. 71 strikes, significant strikes in 3 rounds. Saldana outstruck him, and I think that's what the because Sean doesn't like it when it comes back. He lost to Julian Erosa as well. That's another bad look. I didn't like that. Like,
Terrible look.
it's a terrible look, right? So, but it was a while ago. Sean's a good boxer. He was a professional boxer, if I remember. So Sean's a very good boxer. But Jourdain has the power advantage here. And for lack of anything, I think he has the ground game advantage here as well, right? So if he chooses to go down to the ground, I don't think he would, but
He's not a huge wrestler though.
But the thing is, well, who did he fight the other time? And then he got knocked down in the first round. Who was it? Jesus Christ. No. I gotta look. Kron Gracie, Ricardo Ramos, Nathaniel Wood. No. Josh Cooleybow, where he got that draw. He got knocked down in that first round, and then he went to a little bit of a ground game. He reversed Cooleybow. He put in three sub attempts, and he got that to a draw because he got knocked down in that first round. So it's in him. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying he's gonna go to, but it's in him if he has to. So Sean's a good boxer though. So if they want to stay at range, Jourdain might get eaten up, but he's got to throw the power punches because MMA gets judged differently nowadays. So they always look at power over volume now. So I'm gonna stick with our boy Jourdain.
All right, another one for the Canadians. And then moving on, the last prelim of the night, we've got 13-2 Brad Katona coming in at -175, and he is taking on 9-3 Jarrett Armfield coming in at +150. This is actually probably the only fight on the card I really have no interest in. I find Brad Katona super boring. I'm sorry, that's just me. As a Canadian, I'm not even rooting for this guy. I'm rooting for the upset here. I'm going to root for Armfield to pull it off because at least he finishes fights. So he's got all the finishing side. But I mean, the odds suggest I think everybody's going to say Katona probably wins this by decision. But boring Brad, I can't root for him. That's just me. I think he wins by decision, but I'm rooting for the finisher. I'm going to take Armfield for the upset just because that's what I want to see. What do you think?
I think Brad will out volume him on the feet and probably has the better ground game as well if he chooses to do it. But Brad Katona's kind of short, right? They're all both kind of short, and he was coming up short against Cody Gibson, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen Cody Gibson inside the octagon yet because that was one hell of a finale on the last Ultimate Fighter that they fought. So I don't have much to say here. I think Brad's gonna win on volume. Grant Armfield, we know, is not a pushover though, based on his last fight. I mean, this first fight was a short notice, I believe, with David Onama, right? So that he wasn't winning that.
No. Onama's good, man. Onama's better than
Yeah,
Katona.
he wasn't winning that. So he showed up on his last fight. So maybe he shows up here. I'm not betting this fight. And if I did, it would have been Brad Katona by decision because this
Yep, fair enough. All right, guys, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please please subscribe. We appreciate it. First fight of the main card. I think this is a great fight, actually. We've got 19-2 Arnold Allen coming in at +140 against 17-0 Movsar Evloev coming in at -170, sorry. Great fight. I kind of wanted to see Evloev fight more often. I think he's kind of been babied. I've wanted to see him take that next step up, and I think this is a good test. Obviously, he's a great grappler. He's going to look to take Arnold Allen down and try to choke him out, or he doesn't even finish that often, to be honest. He seems to go to the cards a lot.
Never
So
finishes.
probably get the takedowns, win the decision. That's kind of the grappler's game here in Movsar. And Arnold Allen's going to look to defend the takedowns and outstrike him. Great test. I'm not sure how good Arnold Allen's takedown defense is. I think he's a decent grappler. Like, he's not going to be some terrible grappler that gets tapped the second it hits the ground or anything like that. I'm just not sure if he'll be able to stuff the takedowns and be able to use his striking. Very tough to predict. Very tough. I like both guys. This will answer a lot of questions. I think I like Arnold Allen more, but at the same time, we need new contenders. So if Evloev wins and dominantly, I'll be happy with that too. Very hard to predict. What do you think?
I like Arnold Allen to win this fight, to be honest with you. There's only a few fighters that have been able to take him down in whatever promotion he's been at the time. I think it was UFC. And one was Mads Burnell, who took him down 6 times, and he won that fight by guillotine choke. And the other fighter that took him down was Makwan Americani. He won that by split decision. And the only other time was Alan Omer. That was a while back in like 2015. And he only got taken down twice to his one. And he got a guillotine choke in that. So what does that tell me? That he attacks. Arnold Allen attacks even when he's put into that position. Movsar Evloev puts himself into some bad spots. We saw it against Diego Lopes. I saw him gas against Mike Grundy, and he was taken down 6 times against Mike Grundy. Granted, American friggin' Olympic wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Allen is no slouch. When you were talking about his takedown defense, I looked it up. 76%. It's not bad. Guys are hard to take him down. And if anyone's been able to take him down, it's Allen doing the taking down. Mind you, it's only 1 or 2 a fight max. Listen, man, I think the Monster is real alive in the first round for some wrestling, but like that wrestling takes a toll on him, buddy. Like I think he tires. I think Allen's a stronger fighter as this fight gets on. And if Allen can just put on the amount of volume he has been showing, I always took it out on him for being low volume because he was low volume against Nick Lentz with 63, against Sadiq Youssef only 21. But you know, he's been throwing a lot more lately, a lot more and finishing fights. So we got 49 in the first round against Dan Hooker. That's only 1 round. 28 in just barely the second round. So it's 28 in the first round against Kelvin Cater. 76 against Max Holloway, who's one of the most defensively sound guys in the entire UFC. So he's been throwing the volume now. He needs to continue throwing the volume, stay off the ground. He'll beat Evloev, man. And if Evloev wants to put his neck in a bad spot, it seems like Arnold Allen's got quite a guillotine. I know Diego Lopes didn't tap him out, but like, I don't think Diego Lopez is as strong as Arnold Allen is.
Lopes is a hell of a grappler, man.
He's a
Hell
good
of a grappler.
grappler, but it's sometimes, yo, Uriah
I know.
Faber.
Sometimes strength can
Yo,
submit you.
it's the only reason Uriah Faber got any guillotines is because he's strong as a fucking buck, right? He wasn't great grappler, but he had one hell of a grip, right? Sometimes it's just the grip. And Arnold Allen is a lot more jacked than Diego Lopez ever would be in his life. Like, so and the thing is, I've seen him snatch it before. And when he gets into trouble, at least he snatches things, right? I'm cool if he loses this fight. It's only going to be a single. I'm not going to parlay this by any means, right? You know what I mean? And I'm cool if he loses this fight, but at least I know if he loses the first 2 rounds, he's alive in the third. It's a good feeling to have. Some guys, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, fuck, this guy's done, right? But at least I know he'll go for it. I give him that.
Yep.
Arnold Allen's my pick.
Yep, fair enough. It's a good fight, and it's going to answer a lot of questions. Great fight, actually. All right, moving on. We've got 30-10. Chris Curtis coming in at -175 versus 16-6. Marc-Andre Barriault coming in at +150. I get these odds. Chris Curtis has to have the power advantage, and he has to have the chin advantage. However, he's so low output. So I could see a world where Marc-Andre out volumes him and wins the decision. I could see that happening. I could also see a world where he gets knocked out. So I almost feel like Chris Curtis will not win a decision here. Like you're either on Chris Curtis to knock him out, which is possible, or I think you stab the dog by decision because Chris Curtis doesn't get knocked out. So I don't know. I do agree with the odds. The odds make sense. I think the whole fight stays on the feet. It's not going to hit the ground. So we got a striker versus striker, and I don't know. Part of me wants to play the volume of Mark. I just don't know if his chin will hold up. What do you think?
I don't think his chin holds up. I just but these are the fights that Chris likes, right? Chris likes these fights because he's not going to get taken down because Mark likes to use the wrestling a lot in the fights, but it doesn't always work. Like his last 2 fights against Eric Anders and who was the other guy? I can't remember who it was. Julian Marquez. Yeah, so the wrestling wasn't working, sorry. So he went to the volume. And he can those are guys that gas. Those are guys that you can push up against the side. Chris Curtis won't let that happen. So he comes in with volume, crack. He comes in with volume, crack. Like you said, it might be low volume though, but they're gonna crack. And I've seen Marc-Andre Barriault got cracked. Didn't he lose to Bad Figueiredo? Or he lost to someone that I didn't think he was gonna lose to?
He's been chinned a couple times.
Chidi and Jaquani, that was it. I thought he was gonna push Chidi up against the side, and he lost. He lost to Oscar Pachoda. That was overturned, but and Jun Young Park, he got pushed up. Christoph Jotko, it's a bad look because that guy's also a low volume fighter too, right? If he can employ his volume game, but I don't think that happens because like Chris Curtis doesn't like let you just volume punch him without punching back. Those are the fights he likes. You beat Chris Curtis when you stand at range and you jab him and you kick him and you jab him and you kick him. That's how you beat Chris Curtis, right? You come in and you enter the pocket, then you get out of the pocket, right? You have to fight a technical fight against Chris Curtis. If you want to be a grinder and some sort of like guy like the way Mark Barriault likes to fight, this is Chris Curtis's wheelhouse, if you ask me. I got Curtis. I think he fucking knocks him out. I think he knocks him out real quick.
Well, I think if you're betting Curtis, you have to take the knockout because he doesn't throw enough for the points. But I agree, though. I think he can chin him for sure.
This is his type of fight. Sometimes it's just the spots, and sometimes it's just the matchups, right?
Yep. All right, moving on to the featured fight. We got 28-11 Neil Magny coming in at plus 240. He should never be in a featured fight. Versus 10-1 Mike Malott. Minus 300 favorite. Mike Malott 10-1 with 10 finishes. The guy likes to finish fights. Very, very strong, very physical. And I think what he's going to do here is he's going to get the takedown quite easily because Neil Magny's not the greatest wrestler. He is a decent grappler, but he's not a great wrestler. I think Mike Malott will be able to take him down pretty easily. And once he takes him down, I think he's very live for like a arm triangle choke, something like that. Chokes him out on the floor. And I hope to God he does it. I think he does. I think the Canadians erupt. The building goes crazy. And we never see Neil Magny in a featured fight again because he's very boring. So I'm going to hope that he gets finished here, and I think he does. What do you think?
I hate minus 300. I am not betting this fight. The only way I bet this fight is if I bet him Neil Magny because he can vet this guy. I think Malott wins. There's a difference between who you should bet on and who I think is going to actually win. I think Malott would probably win this fight. But the problem is the experience is technically way on fucking Neil's side, right?
Oh, yeah. If this goes to the second or third round, it's going to look like a Magny decision.
Geez, this guy, he's been fighting the Ian Garys and the Gilbert Burnses and the Shavkats. These are his losses. These are his fucking losses, right? These are the guys he's losing to, right? So Mike Malott better not go in there because I can see it when I look at him. He's a cocky little bastard. A cocky little shit. You don't think you're gonna go in there and run him over. Because if it doesn't happen, it could happen though. Don't get me wrong. It could happen. You can run him over. But if it doesn't happen, like, buddy, I don't know. I've never seen you past round 1.5, maybe. I've never seen any of it. Minus 300. This is the same thing as Tom Watson or Tom, whatever his damn name for the weekend. We told you not to bet on that guy. It's because
he was the only bet I lost with that damn Nolan. He fucked me yesterday. Every other bet, I hit every fight except that fight.
Oh my God, I didn't hit the Ricky Simone one. That was it. Other than those two, I didn't touch the Wilson one. I just didn't hit the Ricky Simone one. I didn't realize he was gonna get dominated like that. It was kind of weird looking, but what are you gonna do? I got the Jim Miller. I got all the other ones. It was a relatively decent card, right? So, but yeah, man.
All right, guys.
He's beaten Fugit. He's beaten Lainesse. He's beaten Mickey Gall. He's beaten Smormutsky. I can't even say this guy's name off the I'm not gonna go through Neil Magny's like record.
Not everybody.
Like, we know it's the Daniel Rodriguez is in the Gilbert Burns is and like the Jeff Neals, like the real deals. Minus 300 is too much. Let it walk. If you're gonna bet this fight, and you really think you want to bet this fight, then you have to bet Neil Magny. I think Mike Malott wins, though.
Yeah, I think he wins. I think he wins by submission, but you're right. The odds are way too wide for the experience gap. Way too wide. All right, guys, that brings us to our co-main event. We got the vacant women's bantamweight championship because Amanda Nunes walked away. So we've got quite the strange co-main. We've got 15-8 Rocky Raquel Pennington coming in at plus 140. And then we got 10-2-1 Mayra Bueno Silva coming in at minus 170. This is a classic striker versus grappler match. Pennington, good hands, pretty good boxer. She's going to look to box her up. And obviously Silva's going to be looking to snatch a neck or snatch an arm, whatever. She's going to be looking to finish it via submission. I've always liked Bueno Silva, always. I always pick her. I picked her against home. I've always leaned with her. And again, I'm going to pick her again here to get it done, to snatch a submission. I like her because she finishes fights. and I think she will get this done. I think the first round will be dicey. I think Raquel Pennington will probably start strong. She is the better boxer. She's better on the feet. She's got decent enough takedown defense, so I'm sure a lot of people think she's going to be able to keep this standing and win via striking. And I get that. I do get it. But she finds ways to lose all the time, too. So I just think at some point, she's going to leave her neck out and get caught. I just think over 5 rounds, I don't think she's going to be able to be perfect for 5 rounds. I think at some point she gets caught. And I'm going to go with Silva as the new champion via submission. That's how I see it. What do you think?
The only problem is the girls that Rocky Pennington are losing to are like top of the top, right? Her losses are Holly Holm, Jourdain Durandamy, Amanda Nunez, Holly Holm, Jessica Andrade, right? Every other fight she's won. Mind you, there is some low volume fights, so there's some high volume fights. It's hard to choose which Raquel Pennington. She's so out to lunch and which one's going to show up each day that you don't really know. At least you know that when Myra shows up, it's going to be that juice monkey is going to go at it, right? You know what I mean? Like she doesn't show up and like mess around, right? There isn't like a lull. She used to in her early part of her career where she was losing would stand back. What I've seen in the last few fights is a girl that's been very aggressive, coming forward, and even in that fight, she beat Holly Holm in that fight, even though it was a
Finished her.
Yeah. That was the juice monkey part about the whole thing. But yeah, whatever. I think she's at a better part of her career. I think if she doesn't stand back and let Rocky control the distance, she wins. That's it. That's my analysis on it. Don't let her control the distance. If she is the one pushing the action, I don't see her losing the fight.
I just think Rocky has to be perfect for 25 minutes. Silva just needs one minute to finish it.
She has to keep the distance. Like, okay, but like what I've said in the last 4 fights, Myra's come forward like a mad woman. She didn't let Holly Holm control the distance at all, right? Not a second.
She was pressure. She was on her, right?
Holly's so good at controlling distance. So good. As the 2 fights against Raquel Pennington show, she's very good at controlling distance. So, oh well. I think Bueno Silva and you.
All right. And that brings us to our main event for the middleweight title. We've got 28-5 Sean Strickland coming in at -138 versus 20-2 Dricus du Plessis coming in at +110. I'm one of the few people here that I actually like both guys. I do. I think Sean Strickland, for all his criticisms, and he is weird, absolutely, but he's very effective. And even in his losses, I thought he beat Cannonier. I know we can go back and forth on that all day. Other people, whatever. I know power scores more than volume. What I'm saying is Sean Strickland is very good. He's a very good fighter. He never gets dominated. Sure, he got the KO once by Alex there. But other than that, he's in every fight, and he's a problem for everyone. He will never gas. He is generally pretty durable. Other than that one shot, he's pretty durable. He won't gas. He's always coming forward and marching in your face. And I guess his only flaw really is he's not a power puncher. He's a volume guy. So he can be somewhat boring, I guess, in the sense that his fights do drag out a bit. But he's very good. Now you got Dricus du Plessis, who fights like a fucking cannonball, whatever. Like, he comes out guns blazing, goes for it. I love it. And while he's not technical at all, like, Sean Strickland is the way more technical fighter. Straight jabs, straight punches. Dricus du Plessis is very wild, very looping, but he hits like a truck. So that's the equalizer here. How do you beat someone who's that technical? You beat him with power. So I think he's very live. And the thing with Dricus too is he has serious heart and a serious belief in himself, and that can do crazy things, man. Someone who believes in themselves that much, we all laugh at him. We all laugh at some of these videos where he looks ridiculous. Mouth open. He's always looks tired, but he always finishes the fight. So he's a finisher. He's an exciting guy. I won't be upset if he wins. Not at all. I like both of them. I'm going to take Sean Strickland, but a Dricus finish again early in the fight would not surprise me. I think for Dricus to win this fight, he has to finish it and probably finish it early. Once it goes past round 2, Sean Strickland's winning this fight, in my opinion. Sorry for that rant. I don't even know what the hell I just said, but I think Sean Strickland over 2 rounds or Dricus under 2 rounds. I like them both. I'm going to take Sean Strickland, though. What do you think?
I think this fight sort of mimics that Alex Pereira was like with the Sean Strickland fight, sort of. I I think Dreykus has just as much power as Alex does. Just obviously the technical aspect of the whole thing is different. Yo, but if he comes after Dreykus, like I think Dreykus can go back after him. Like Sean's no one's fire fought Sean except for maybe Cannonier. And I still don't think Cannonier is as good as advertised, to be honest with you. So, Dreykus does have those takedowns, and I know how Sean has a great takedown defense. But if he's coming forward and he's starting to get into a firefight, you've seen Dreykus pull out a takedown. And he took down Robert Whitaker, didn't he?
I think he knocked him down. I don't know if he
Yeah,
took
I
him
don't know if he
down.
took it. Well, whatever, man. Like, would we have like what do we think about like we were all thinking Robert Whitaker was the next guy to fight Sean Strickland, to be honest with you. So man, I don't know. He's gonna march him down, like you said. He's gonna come after him. He's gonna be a little way more technical. He's a tough son of a bitch. But when that hook came right back at him, what did he do? Like he went right down and then he started training with Alex, right? So so I don't
I
know,
don't
man.
think he has a bad shin, man. Alex hits hard. I don't think he has
I
a
know,
bad
but
shin.
so does Dreykus. I think Dreykus hits hard too. And I think that was the problem with Whitaker. Whitaker didn't realize how fucking hard this guy actually hits, right?
He's a fucking beast, man. He's huge.
Right. So and he's gonna outsize him. His chest is like the size of Africa. Like he's a big man. Like, listen, I don't know. I think Sean probably wins this fight, but uh
A Dricus
I don't
knockout
know. If I
early
win
is
three
live.
parlays, I'm gonna throw $50 on Dreykus and hope the best to get plus money back on me. Probably I'm gonna take a first or second round knockout or a finish, right? To get even more juice because yeah, as you said, this thing gets in the third, fourth, fifth round. There's no way. Dreykus does have heart though. Like I've seen him like, oh, he's so tired, and then he takes him down and rides the guy out for fucking the last round, or finishes him with a choke of some sort. And choke doesn't even look like it's in, and the guy is like tapping, right? And you're like, what the hell, right? I'm torn here. I'm not parlaying this fight. I will not have this fight on anything. If I win some money previous to this, I will definitely, 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 for the fun of it, take Dreykus round one or round two.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's not going to win a decision. So if you're on the Dricus side, it's to finish.
Yeah, man.
Okay, guys, like A Train said, this past week we didn't do a second video. Man, we're just getting back from the holidays. We were slammed. This is a pay-per-view card. Of course, we're going to do a second video. So as soon as the props are out, look for us to drop another video with our favorite bet for each fight. We're going to see which props are tickling us, which ones we see out there, and we're going to share them with you. What do you got there?
1 minute.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no worries. Okay, so we'll be back soon. Look for us Wednesday or Thursday. Have a good one. Drop us a comment, like, subscribe, and we'll chat soon. Have a good one.
Go Packers.